Updates on Canada visitor visas. There are some updates right there from Canada on the Canadian visitor visas, because it is no longer news that for some time, especially last year or before last year, between 2021 and 2023, people went to Canada in search of jobs with visitor visas, and some of them were lucky to land LMIA jobs or LMIA exempt. For those who may just be coming across my channel for the first time and may not know what LMIA stands for, it stands for Labor Market Impact Assessment. This LMIA is a license that a Canadian employer needs to have to be able to employ somebody from outside Canada or visitor visa holders. So employers in Canada who don't have this license, and also their business is not LMIA exempt, they cannot employ visitor visa holders. So these are the kind of jobs you have to be looking for if you're on a visitor visa and want to land a job. So now, currently, there are news also about those who have applied for visas, especially the Canada visitor visas, and are still yet to get replies. There is update on that in this video. And also, there is updates on jobs in Canada, getting jobs with visitor visas. There is an update on it. There is an update on how students, international students, are faring right there in Canada. One thing you have to understand when it comes to consuming my content, don't be locked into this was happening last year. Things are changing on a daily basis. So what you hear now may not be the way things are next month. So in this video, I am telling you based on current situations and happenings on ground right there in Canada. That is what I am bringing to you in this video. When things change, I will still come here and tell you these are things. Now. So if you are coming across my channel for the first time, my name is Nusa Comedy, the man with the remedy. And also please give this video a big like and also subscribe to my channel if you have not yet subscribed, because right here, it is the right place for you to be. Any immigration content, news, legit, I am locking it down right here. So let's roll. For those of you who applied for Canada visitor visas and you have not yet got a reply or replies from ROCC, from my research and from what I am hearing, many of you will start receiving messages by May. Yes, by May. Because Canada announced not too long ago, and I made a content on it, when they said they are reducing the number of temporary residents in their country. And in that video, I said by virtue of that announcement, many visa applications are going to be declined, refused, because I believe that is where they are going to start from. Now, for those of you that are still waiting for messages, just be patient, because there is a meeting the immigration minister right there in Canada, Mr. Macmillan, will be holding with stakeholders, I think by May next month. But that is not to say many of you will not be getting replies this month. You know, just like the way Canada pumped out visas last year, I believe after that meeting, many of you will start getting messages from IROCC because they are still working out ways for them to reduce the temporary residents in their country. So they are coming up with various ideas. So I believe in that meeting, a lot of things will be concluded. And hopefully, many of you that have been patiently waiting for your replies will get positive replies. Don't forget, whenever you are denied a visa, God knows best. But for me, it is not something that makes me happy. What makes me happy right here is people telling me, I have this visa. What do I do next? That is what I like to hear. Because being here in America, I realized that it is not really the narrative some people are painting to many of us back home in Africa. Even though we know you don't pick money on trees abroad, but believe me, there are many things to enjoy abroad. That is why I have always motivated my subscribers here and my followers in my other social media platforms not to relent, not to give up on their travel dreams, on their jackpot dreams. Me, I left Nigeria, came to the US. Comparing the way life is here and back home, there are many things that are available here for you to enjoy that you hardly find back home in Africa. But home is home. No place like home. So that is that for those of you who applied. Just be patient. Just be patient. One good thing about Canada is that they will always reach out to you. Either if they refuse you, you will get a message. If they grant your visa, you will still get a message. So if you are still yet to get a message, don't be feeling like they have forgotten your application in one corner. No, your application is still there. As long as you have not received any message, don't panic. Just be patient. Just be patient. Now, for those of you who are planning on going to Canada with visitor visas to go and look for work, to go and search for jobs, please, before you leave your countries, make sure you plan well. When I say plan well, please have a lot of money. If it's possible that you have somebody you want to stay with in Canada, better. That person can be asking questions for you, can be seeing how he can find you something to do. But the reality on ground as at now in Canada is that converting that visitor visa, like you people say it, is no longer easy. Even though it has never been easy, but it is even more difficult than the way it was last year. There are people who have spent months in Canada and they have started returning back to their countries because they have stayed months there. They have been unable to land LMIA jobs. Some went there, they are nearing overstay. They don't want to overstay their visas. If not, they may have problems. Many of them have decided to leave Canada and rearrange themselves to come back again. Because when you are saying things to our people back home, especially Africans, they feel like you are discouraging them. But when they get there and get stranded, they start calling. If I tell you calls of people who were stranded in foreign airports that I have received these past few months, if I tell you the number, you will say I'm exaggerating. These are people who see abroad in movies and feel like it is easy to survive anywhere. because they have been surviving back home. Don't you know that surviving where you don't have anybody is difficult? Now, there were people who went to Canada, search for jobs, they were applying online. They had people there to even make inquiries on their behalf. They couldn't find jobs because right now, many of those jobs that most of these visitor visa holders got last year, which enabled them to convert or apply for a work permit, many of those jobs have been taken over by international students, to the extent that many students in Canada right now cannot even find a job for their 20 hours a week. These are students with study permits. They cannot find jobs. Then you, on a visitor visa, that the employer will need LMIA license, that the employer will need to, first of all, advertise this job or jobs for a certain period. And after nobody in Canada to fill these vacancies, this employer will now write to the government of Canada to let them know that he wants to employ you, because after advertising these vacancies for some time, there were no Canadian citizens or Canadian permanent residents to take that job. So you see the process the employer will have to go through. So not many employers in Canada don't want to go through all this. So instead, they just prefer somebody who is ready to go. I don't need a license to employ an international student. I don't need a license to employ. I don't need LMIA to employ international students. The employer, they don't need LMIA to employ Canadian citizens or Canadian permanent residents. That is why it is difficult. So please, I am not here to discourage anybody. I like to say things the way they are. It is better you are in your countries than to go to Canada and be stranded and still go back to your countries without nothing. Hold your money tight, plan well, ask questions, make friends with people in Canada. If you have relatives, reach out to them. Somebody can reach out to somebody reach out to somebody. There are people who have been able to land jobs like that in Canada. So you can also do it. But don't leave home with the hope of people are telling you you can convert, because many of those contents are online, and those contents have put people into trouble to the extent that people were stranded. And as I make this video, there are people, tons of people in Canada who are currently stranded. Many of them are even begging to come back to their countries. So don't make that mistake. You understand? And for international students, please make sure you have a skill. You cannot, because you have paid tuition fees, you have been given admissions, you have been given visas, you just say, oh, 20 hours a week. Ask yourself, that 20 hours a week, what kind of job are you looking forward to doing in Canada? The high-paying jobs that will allow you save money to support your tuition fee, rent, and other cost of living expenses, and even send some money back home. Do you have the skills for those jobs? As I talk to you, people are stranded in Canada. This is no play. Go online to verify my claim. People are stranded. I am doing this video for you to know that that thing that you heard last year that people were able to convert, it's even 3 times more difficult than the way it was last year. So this is the reason why I've made this video, because right here, I like to keep it real. I don't like to watch things. You understand? So that is it in this very content, guys. And I will be very, very happy if you guys eventually get your visas granted, your visa applications granted, I mean to say. So I am here rooting for you guys. and I will see you in my next video. Have a good one, guys.